Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. The Goodbye Girl is a 1977 American romantic comedy drama film that was directed by Herbert Ross. It was written by Neil Simon, and it stars Richard Dreyfuss, Marcia Mason, Quinn Cummings, and Paul Benedict. Richard Dreyfuss went on to win a 1977 Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance in the film as Elliot Garfield. At the time, he became the youngest man to win an Oscar for Best Actor. The movie went on to be the first romantic comedy to earn $100 million in box office grosses. The storyline goes that ex-Broadway chorus dancer Paula McFadden lives with her 8-year-old, really precocious daughter Lucy, and Paula's lover, actor Tony DeForest. Paula has solely been playing the wife and mother ever since she got married to Lucy's father. Paula comes home one day to find that Tony has left her. Unknown to Paula, Tony, whose name was on the apartment lease, has sublet it to Elliot Garfield, who's an actor from out of town who has come to New York to appear as the lead in an off-Broadway production of Richard III. Paula won't give up the apartment without a fight. She thinks that possession is 9/10 of the law, but an equally tenacious Elliot figures that the law is probably on his side, and he does have a key. Paula then realizes the easiest thing to do is to share the apartment with Elliot. Paula doesn't like Elliot much, solely because of what he represents to her, and thus Paula tries to make his life as miserable as she possibly can in hopes that he will leave. As Paula and Elliot do their best to cohabitate, they each have their own professional problems. As each one tries to earn a living, they find out that they're kind of falling for each other. But Paula, a two-time loser in love, is really hesitant to get into a relationship with Elliot, who she fears will ultimately leave her like all the others have done before. The movie was originally entitled Bogart Slept Here, with Robert De Niro as the leading man and Mike Nichols serving as director. The story was supposedly based on Dustin Hoffman's life as a struggling actor. It's said that Hoffman wanted the lead role in the film, but was turned down. Artistic differences ultimately forced De Niro and Nichols out 2 weeks into the shoot. They then scrambled to find other actors that were candidates for the role, and those included Jack Nicholson, James Caan, and a few others. Richard Dreyfuss was brought in to test opposite Marcia Mason. At the end of the read-through, writer Neil Simon ruled that it doesn't work, but they do. From this session, the two leads for the picture were finalized, although the film did not resume for some time. In between, there was an extensive rewrite of the screenplay by Simon, after which Herbert Ross was signed to direct the film. Marcia Mason recalled a scene between her and Quinn Cummings, and I tell you what, Quinn Cummings is truly amazing in this film. Very seldom do you see young actors able to pull off scenes like this young lady does. But anyway, in the scene, Marcia Mason and Cummings were supposed to say their lines, and Cummings was to finish her line and then move to a chair and sit down. Mason noticed that she did it exactly the same way every time. She knew that this showed a real good instinct and good discipline, but the freshness can go away pretty quickly doing things that disciplined. Mason decided that she wanted to try something different just to see how it might change the scene. She states that her and Quinn started the scene again, and when it came time for her to move to the chair, Mason sat in the chair that Quinn was supposed to sit in instead. Naturally, the young girl was thrown off by this, and she looked at the director as to what to do. He took her aside and quietly explained to Quinn that in life, we never know what another person is going to do, and we don't always know how we're going to respond to the way they do something. The little girl listened intently, nodding her head, and she said, "I've got it." She proved to be extraordinary in her ability to roll with the punch. This all being done at 9 years old. Mason actually stated that she's one of the favorite actresses that she's ever worked with, that she was 9 years old, going on 27, and that she turned the word precocious into a wonderful word. She was a little girl with very big intelligence. She always knew her lines and was quicker with most responses than seasoned actors were. She could land a joke with the best of them. She was truly a professional at age 9. According to Neil Simon, the writer, no one expected this movie to do well at the box office. It only had one real star, that being Richard Dreyfuss. It had one rising star, that being Marcia Mason, and one cute little kid named Quinn Cummings. But the direction that was done by Herbert Ross moved the film to a different level, and it was basically the producer's faith in the film that pushed it along. Richard Dreyfuss has stated that The Goodbye Girl was an excellent script, that it was just wonderful, and the actors that he had to work with, he never grew tired of. They were funny and loving cast members. He felt that they were perfect for the other parts of the film. That type of role, the role of Elliot, was one that he could play over and over again, and he stated that he could do that style until he retired, that he really wanted to acquire his real personality as his own. The movie was a joint production between Warner Brothers and MGM. In 1986, MGM's share in the film was acquired with the rest of MGM's pre-1986 releases by Turner Entertainment, which in turn owned Turner Broadcasting Systems. In 1996, TBS was purchased by Time Warner and merged Time Entertainment with Warner Brothers. As a result of this, Warner Brothers now owns the film outright. Neil Simon likened the experience to collaborating on a play. He said that during the shooting, if he felt like a line or word needed improvement, he would just shout it out. In the scene where Elliot confronts Paula about keeping herself and her daughter out of the way in the newly acquired apartment, which he has agreed to share with his 2 new tenants, he warns her that he likes to walk around the house at night without his pajamas on, which he doesn't own in the first place. All of a sudden, Neil Simon got the urge to shout out to Richard Dreyfuss the word buffo. Richard, without blinking an eye, said the entire speech again and threw in the word buffo at the end of the sentence, which basically sticks a pin in it. This scene is a prime example of how Marcia Mason and Richard Dreyfuss were a perfect match for this film, and you were able to practically see the sparks between them lighting up the screen. Marcia Mason really liked working with Richard Dreyfuss. She states that he was fast and funny. He was wild and free. She had to play the more serious character, and she really wanted to be like him in the film. He was so sure of himself and sure of his place and space in the world, and he moves forward through this accordingly. The only thing that Marcia Mason disliked about working with Richard Dreyfuss was that he always reeked of fish. He had decided to go on a diet early into shooting because he needed to lose weight. That food of choice that he had for this diet was sushi. He had sushi day in and day out. He ate nothing but sushi. He had it brought into his trailer. He had it brought to the set. Sushi went home with him. The man lived and breathed sushi, and he reeked of it. It oozed from his pores. She felt like that this was the only drawback to working with Richard Dreyfuss. If you could get past the smell, everything was okay. Take a look back at The Goodbye Girl. It's a great film, and I think you'll enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.